Okay, let's get started. Any questions from last class? So in the last class, we actually talked about present value and future value, right? Now let's talk about some relationship. So let's say you will receive $1,000 in the future. You could receive in 10 years, or you could receive in 20 years, the same amount of money. The same amount of money, you have two different options, receiving in 10 years, receiving in 20 years. Now, what do you think? If we fix the interest rate, let's say 10%, which one should have more value today? Receiving money in 10 years, receiving money in 20 years. For both options, interest rate, discount rate is 10%. Same amount of money, but in two different periods. Which one should have more value today? Yes, Dolly. Sooner? Absolutely. So the mathematical idea is here, if you receive the money sooner, you are discounting it less, right? If you receive the money later, you are discounting it more. This is a mathematical interpretation. So that's why this one should have more present value today than this one. Make sense? And at the same time, final interpretation, receiving money is always better than receiving later, right? Why? If you receive it early, you can use it. You can invest it somewhere. Make sense? So, very important relationship. For a given interest rate, the longer the time period, the lower the present value. If you receive the money in a very, very little period, the present value of that money should be lower today. So that means if you are receiving, always better to receive early. What if I tell you, you are paying? Which one is better? Later one, right? Because this one has lower present value today, I have to pay, better to pay late, right? Make sense? Second important relationship. Let's say we have only one option, option A. But the discount rate could be different. You will receive $1,000 10 years from today. Discount rate could be 10%, discount rate could be 15%. For these two different options, which one you believe should have more or less present value today? Oh, receiving money at 10 years, two different interest rates, 10% versus 15%. Which one you believe should have lower or more present value today? %, 15%. Should have more or less?
It'll have less.
Less, because if you discount at a higher rate, the discounting figure should be more, right? So that's why when the interest rate is more, for a similar time period, if the interest rate is more, present value should be less. Make sense? So if we fix number of years, higher the interest rate, lower the present value. If we fix same interest rate, higher the number of periods, lower the present value. So now let's do these two problems and tell me the answer. What do you think? What do you find? Done. Okay, how much you got for problem one? So future value 15,000, right? A is 3, you rate 6%, right? These are the inputs for a market calculator. Okay. So how much present value got?
12,594.
12,594 and 29 cents. This is all we got. Now, without doing the math, just from the relationship we learned, do we need more money or less money? Yes. Why? High interest rate, right? Future value is same, number of years is same, but interest rate is high, so we need less money, right? So the only change should be 15,000, 1.08 to the power 3, right? And also for your partial calculator, you just need to plug here 8% or 8. right? How much you got? Total amount. $907. Right? So $600 is the difference, right? So you need to invest around $600 something plus, right? Questions? So far we learned how to calculate present value, future value. Now we're going to learn how to calculate discount rate. If you know how much to invest today, if you know how much you're going to receive in futures, and if you also know the number of years we're going to invest the money, what is the discount rate or interest rate we are earning from the investment process, okay? Is this formula new or familiar? Familiar, we know that, right? Right? Let's do divide both sides by the present value. We are dividing both sides by the same thing, right? So equation still holds. Cancels out. Make sense? We are doing the same thing on the both sides. To the power 1 over t, both sides. Cancels out. Right? Subtracting 1 from both sides. Right? This one cancels out. Now, if this equation makes sense. If you don't want to use financial calculator or Excel, let's say, you just only want to use some formulas to find out what is the discount rate or interest rate we're earning from the investment, this should be the formula. Right? So if you know the formula, tell me what should be the rate of interest we are earning from these investments. And the formula you're going to need is the very last one. Done. How much interest rate you got? 2.71. So the formula we need to use is future value 1200, present value 1000, 1/5 minus 1, 2. You all got the same number? Now, if you want to do in the financial calculator, who wants to help me if you want to do in the financial calculator? Isaac, yes.
So, taking 5 years, so 5, and then 1200.
1200 future value?
Yeah.
Okay,
Then you're gonna take 1,000, and then you're gonna hit the negative.
okay,
And then you're gonna hit +1,000,
okay.
and then you're gonna hit you, and then you're gonna hit I/1.
Makes sense to all?
I think you said the financial calculators, right, those are just a couple of possibilities. In mine, it's just a factor settings and only goes to the, 2004.
Who wants to help me on this? How can we change from 2 decimal to 4 decimal? If you have watched a video, I posted you should have videos. How can we change?
That's
That's not it. Do we know how to change? Like, right, it's a 4 decimal, right? So basically, in finance, 4 decimal is the standard, okay? Because we play with lot of interests, right? So we write to, like, we prefer to write 5.12%. So 5.12 is basically 0.0512, right? So that's why we prefer 4 decimal in finance. But how can we change from 2 to 4, 4 to 6, 6 to 8? Yes, Gabby?
If you do second and then the format button, which on mine's the period.
Second, Isaac, second on the here, and then just click 4.
Yeah.
And then, right? Did you able to change?
Yeah.
4 decimal?
Thank you.
Okay. So let's do a couple of more problems. What do you think about this one? How much you got for this problem? Short term? 2.5, right? So it's saying money needs to be doubled, right? Can I just write this way? In finance, we have to be smart, we need to say time. You don't have time to do 20,000 everything else, right? All the rest too. 24 or 25, right? Something like that. So what I did, rather than writing 20,000 over 10,000, I just said 2. 2 over to the power 1 over 6 minus 1. Okay, let's do this one. What is the rate of return from this investment? Yeah, John, sorry, no, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So 75,000 or 5,000. We're going for 17 years. 17.52. So these examples are very good practice for the midterm we're gonna have next week. Now let's say you take a role in the industry of financial consultant. You learn some knowledge by taking finance classes here at Truman. You have a client who came to you and giving you that information. Now, what is your recommendation for this client? So what do you think? Which options that person gonna choose from this given information? So we are done. Who wants to be the consultant for these clients? So we have one consultant, anyone else? Two, okay, what do you think? Let's see, starting from Emily.
I think they should invest in the second option because I got the implied interest rate for option one about 3.71%, which is slightly less.
Matt,
Right, I kind of agree with that. If you're going with the second option, you'll make about $608 compared to just 600 plus, that second option, you can just keep the amount in there in perpetuity if you wanted to.
okay. Anyone wants to add anything on top of that? Isaac,
And investment risk in the bank is like negligible versus low investment risk option.
that's the point I was looking for. When you compare two different strategies, it's not about only return. Okay. In finance, we cannot only compare two different options only based on return. If we are only comparing return, we should have invested in Bitcoin 10 years before, right? Rather than investing in index funds or something else, right? What do you need to compare? Return and risk ratios. So if you look carefully, low risk. So low risk, you can also think about negligible. Maybe some very safe investments. On the other hand, putting money in a bank is also negligible. Because if you put money in a bank, you have a certain threshold which is really, really high that is covered by FDIC, right? So there is really, really very, very little risk that bank will default and you will not get the money. Even if bank default, you have covered by FDIC. So both of these investment strategies have low risk. So we can say that in terms of risk matrix, they are comparable. They are kind of twin brother. Now let's look at their return. If they were not comparable, then that's a different scenario. We have to think of a lot of different things to decide which one is better. But we are certain these two are comparable in terms of risk matrix. Now look at the return. If you calculate the return using the formula we just learned, 2.71 or 17? 71. So this is the return we can generate from option one. Option two is offering 4%. Now we should go somewhere which gives us more return, which is option two. Because in terms of risk, we are similar. Make sense? So now we are moving on to calculate how to find number of periods. So if we know how much to invest today, if you know future value in tomorrow, if we also know interest rate, discount rate, and how we can calculate the number of periods from the problem, right? Starting from this basic equation, new or familiar? Familiar, right? So we know this equation, right? We can do that. We just learned how we can do that, right? If we take the law, the natural law, it should be like this. If we take the natural law of any power, the power comes in front, and then you have divided, right? Now we can take this side here. So basically, if we divide both sides by this value, make sense? So we are just doing the natural law. In your functional calculator, in your regular calculator, you should have the natural law. So let me show you for the functional calculator. make the view big. Did you see that? Right beside the number 7. Yeah, sure. Okay. So from now on, the formula we're gonna need is this one. You can rewrite. You can say that T should be a function of future value present value ratio divided by. Using this formula, we can find out the number of periods. Now let's tell me what should be the number of periods from this example. Yes.
I think the
What?
final thing.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Done? Okay, couple of people still work. How much you got? How many years? 3 years? Yes, how much you got? 102. Okay. Same. So it's basically what to play with the formula, right? On the top we have ln 15,000, 20,000, right? At the bottom, we have 1.1. You just need to find out the natural log value of this amount and this amount. That's it. You should get something like 2.03 years. So let's do a couple of more problems, then we have reached for today. Yes.
What's our loan amount?
The total cost.
Huh? Yeah. So basically, this is the cost of the house, okay? This is the cost of house. Now, what's the requirement? Have you guys ever affiliated with the real estate purchase? Maybe with your parents, maybe with your friends, maybe someone else. Do you know the culture of this? So there is something called house price. That's $100, okay? And if you want to buy any house, you have to make certain down payment. Down payment means your own money from your savings, from your pocket. Rest is the loan. Loan is not the house price. Rest is the loan. Make sense? So I have to buy a house, $100, let's say. I want to buy a house. House price is $100. I'm gonna pay $10 from my pocket, my savings, my money. The rest $90 is the loan. Make sense? Now you calculate from here, figure it out. So done. How many years you gonna need?
5.6.
5.6. You all got 5.6? Okay, let's see. So, what is the house price? 150,000. What is the down payment? 10% of 150,000. Right? Closing cost. Any idea of what is the closing cost? You can think about it just a fee to complete the process. There are some agents, they will complete the process for you. It's a fees. You need to pay it from your pocket. What is the closing cost? 7,500. Why? Closing cost. Read again. What is the closing cost?
6,750,
Why?
because you take your 150 minus your down payment and then 5% of that. So
Absolutely, absolutely. So our loan value is now it's making sense. We are not taking the entire 150,000 as our loan because 15,000 is our money, our savings. This is our loan value. This is the money we are borrowing from the bank or mortgage agencies or something like that. So closing cost should be 135,000 times 0.5. How much you said?
It was 6,750.
6,750, right? If you want to buy a house, this is the total amount of money you need from your pocket. In reality, it's also true. In reality, if you want to buy a house, you need the down payment, you need the closing cost. But also sometimes in reality, banks are ready to give you the money for closing cost. You'll charge high. So nowadays, banks are ready to give you this money sometimes. But if not, this is the minimum amount of money you need when you want to buy a house. So in our case, this is our future value, right? This is our future value. If you sum them up, I think our future value should be 21,750. How much money we have? Right now we have 15,700. And rate of return 7.5%. Right? Now, what should be the number of years now?
5.120.
5.14. If you did not get 5.14, feel free to raise your hand. You did not get that?
No, I know it's right now, but I didn't realize, what's the cost.
Yeah, because if you read here, closing cost is on the loan amount, not on the house price. Make sense? If you're struggling, it's better to learn before next Tuesday. Because on the next Tuesday, I am not for anyone. Good. Okay, let's do this one then. Pretty easy one, right? Just plug in the values, right? So how much you got for the number of years? 3.13. This is all you got. So it's basically 600 is the future value, 500 is the present value, right? You need to find the natural log of that ratio. Then on the denominator, you should have natural log of 1.06. 3.13. Okay. In the last class, I think we done some Excel, right? These two formulas, right? So today we learn how to do number of periods and the rate of return. We also know how to do the partial calculator, right? Under the formula. Same thing on the Excel. If you just type rate, input those information, number of periods, payment, present value, future value, Excel will give you the same result to be calculated. N part, that is the formula for number of period calculation. Input those information, Excel will give you the same results we need today. Only caution in partial calculator, we write the absolute number for interest rate, like 8 for 8%. On the Excel, we have to do 8%, not 8. But same way, go to the Excel, practice, do the good practice for your future. If you can practice the same sample problems on the Excel, generate the same results, those are good learning for the future, not for the test, but for future. Make sense? Okay, so now some important information for your midterm next week. If you go to the Blackboard, you can see this folder is new, right?
You just say we did and then not.
Huh?
You could just say we took the midterm and then not.
What do you mean?
Just give us the 100 and we all just walk away after.
So I'm ready to give you 100 if you make anything correct on the
But then you don't have to grade it. So much effort has gone away.
I have cleared it. I don't need to grade it. So now it's comfortable for you that I can save my time. If someone is getting it for me.
Actually, I'd rather you waste your time grading this stuff. See this.
So for the midterm next week, I already uploaded the formula sheet. This is the same thing you're gonna see on the back of your test. But I'm giving you early so that you are familiar with what is expecting on the test, right? So you can practice, you can print it out and now practice with this on with you, right? This is gonna help you prepare for the midterm. And also midterm is whatever we learned until today. Chapter 1 to 5. We have no quiz on chapter 1, but chapter 1 is included in the midterm. So don't think no quiz on chapter 1, so nothing on the midterm from chapter, no. 1 to 5. Okay. Now how to prepare? It's a closed book, closed notes, everything from memory. How to prepare? I have given you a guideline something. If you want to start preparing for a midterm, you can follow this if you want. So I've given you some guidelines like how to focus, how to attack problems for each chapters, and how to learn. Next class is completely reserved for if you have any problems from any slides, or if you want me to talk about this kind of topics, whatever you want. Any formulas, any topics, anything you want, okay? In the next class, we'll also go over the policies on the midterm. What is the time, how much time you got, how many questions are here, what you should do, what you should not do, all the policies, guidelines, materials, formulas, and everything. Make sense? If you want to prepare, you can use this review and you can also use the formula sheet, which should be helpful for you. Questions? All good? Yes. Thursday, absolutely. Chapter 5 quiz on Thursday. Yes, yes. Any more questions? Then that's all for today. Wait, hold on. What? Okay.
Yeah, like this more.
Okay. So I intentionally don't want to open the quiz for everyone after you are done. But I know those are helpful for the preparations. If you want to review a quiz, you have to see me at my office. You can see the previous answer.
That's how we waste your time.